Good Tuesday morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know with the news you trust studio, sponsored by the Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Joe Everett. Well, currently 72 degrees out here at the farm, and looks like there might be a chance of rain later in the day, which will be definitely beneficial for our growing crops. Now, taking a quick look at the calendar, make plans to visit the Henry County Fair August 8th through the 15th. We'll be broadcasting there Friday. To learn more about the Henry County Fair, visit henrycountyfair.org. Then stop 2 of the Ohio Soybean Association Hometown Tour is today at Arable Research Lab in Delaware, and stop 3 is tomorrow at Bridgewater Dairy in Montpelier. Register for the free event at soyohio.org/hometown. Then the 2024 Ohio AgNet and Ohio's Country Journal Crop Tour gets underway this afternoon. Matt, Dusty, and Joel will lead the teams of scouts, and they'll be visiting corn and soybean fields in 24 counties across the state over the next 2 days. In addition, the OSU Extension will be collecting statewide yield checks throughout the week. Be sure to stay tuned, and you can follow online at ohioagnet.com for the ongoing reports. The 2024 Ohio Crop Tour is sponsored by the Ohio Field Leader, which is a project of the Ohio Soybean Council and the Soybean Checkoff. Now let's take a look at some of your agricultural news headlines. USDA says the value of all farm real estate increased 5% compared to last year. The average price is $4,170 per acre, and that includes buildings and other facilities. Cropland values increased to $5,570 per acre from last year. That's a jump of $350 per acre, more than 4.7% higher. The average pasture value was $11,830 per acre, up 5.2% or $90 per acre compared to 2023. Farmers paid an average price of $160 per acre to rent cropland. Renting irrigated ground averaged $245 per acre. Drylands rent were about $146 per acre on average. Most states saw higher cropland values. The Corn Belt saw cropland values climb by an average of 4.5%, reaching $8,560 per acre. In the Northern Plains, average cropland values rose 6.6% to $4,040 per acre. Colorado, Montana, and New Jersey were the only states to see a decrease. In other news, the 2024 Ohio State Fair Sale of Champions livestock auction celebrated Ohio youth in agriculture, raising $260,500. The auction exceeded sales caps, allocating over $134,000 to the Virgil L. Strickler Youth Reserve Program, which aids Ohio youth in agriculture. The Ohio Expo Center and State Fairgrounds Executive Director Adam Heffron praised Junior Fair livestock exhibitors for their dedication, noting the event's success hinged on generous buyers. New participants included Springer Mountain Farms, Farmer Boys, Sarka Electric, Dangler Excavating, LLC, and Ohio Quarter Horse Association. The auction featured various champion livestock, with the ultimate goal of exhibitors being selected as grand champion. The Youth Reserve Program, established in 1995 and renamed in 2023 for retiring fair general manager Virgil Strickler, rewards junior exhibitors. This year, $134,500 from the sale will fund the program, supporting scholarships, exhibitor programs, and 4-H and FFA activities. Since its inception, the program has raised over $5.1 million, benefiting more than 45,400 youth. To learn more about the sale of champion totals, you can find that full article on ohioagnet.com. We'll be back with today's weather after this.
Hey Ohio, exciting news coming to you from Ohio's Country Journal. Subscribe or renew your free subscription by September 20th of 2024 and you could win one of 4 50-inch televisions. Ohio's Country Journal is free, but subscribers have to renew their subscriptions every 3 years to continue to receive it. Subscribe or renew to stay updated on all things Ohio, from agricultural insights to rural lifestyle. Don't miss out. Visit our website today at ocj.com/renew.
Nearly 90% of farmers say that financial worries, constantly changing market conditions, and other uncontrollable variables take a toll on their mental well-being. Add in the weather and family dynamics, well, it's a lot to handle alone. But did you know farmers and their families can receive free confidential services from licensed professionals? Support is available 24/7 to help with the challenges you face. Look for Farm Family Wellness Alliance under the Resources tab at farmfoundation.org. Take care of yourself. Your well-being matters.
It's now time to take a look at today's weather, brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Another very warm, very humid day working through Ohio. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your forecast update. No major changes here across the region. We are very warm, very humid. Temperatures not that far above normal, but the humidity makes it feel awful. And we have a big-time storm complex trying to work its way through Michigan today. Like yesterday, there's a threat of some of this moisture getting down into the northern part of the state. US 30 northward, I'm going to say once again, we can see some hit-and-miss scattered shower and thunderstorm action. Anywhere from a tenth to 1 inch in spots, particularly in northeastern parts of the state. And I think as we move through the evening and overnight, we can maybe see this moisture work a little bit farther south, maybe down into the I-70 corridor, or even a bit farther south. All this moisture then dissipates overnight, and we should be drier for tomorrow. And then we move into slightly lower humidity readings and slightly lower temperatures for Wednesday afternoon and Thursday. Temperatures starting to heat back up on Friday, but what is not coming back is precipitation. I am putting us into a dry forecast pattern from tomorrow afternoon right on through the weekend, and honestly at this point, I think through most of next week. The next round of significant moisture may not come together until next Friday into Saturday. So we're definitely going to be shifting into that dry pattern. Warm temperatures coming back midweek next week, actually well above normal, and potentially the hottest that we've seen this summer so far. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Well, yesterday the USDA Weekly Crop Progress Report came out. Let's look at those numbers. The Ohio Crop Progress Report update is sponsored by AgriSpray Drones, empowering rural America through complete spray drone solutions. Contact them at agrispraydrones.com/Arnold Precision. Starting with the national numbers, corn silking was pegged at 88%, 2 percentage points behind last year's 90%, but even with the 5-year average. Corn in the dough stage was estimated at 46%, which is 2 points ahead of last year's 44% and 8 points ahead of the 5-year average of 38%. The crop condition was rated 67% of the corn was rated good to excellent condition, down 1 point from the previous week and still well ahead of last year's 57%. 10% of the crop was rated very poor to poor, up 1 point from 9% from the previous week and still below the 14% last year. Switching over to soybeans, soybeans blooming were pegged at 86%, 2 points behind last year's pace of 78%, but 3 points ahead of the 5-year average of 84%. Soybean setting pods were estimated at 59%, 2 points behind last year's 61%, but 3 points ahead of the 5-year average of 56%. The crop condition for soybeans were rated 68% were in good to excellent condition, up 1 point from 67% the previous week, but still above last year's rating of 54% good to excellent. Looking at winter wheat harvest progress, it moved ahead 6 points to reach 88% complete nationwide. That was 1 point ahead of last year's 88% and 2 points ahead of the 5-year average pace of 86%. Now looking at the numbers from the Buckeye State, topsoil moisture condition was rated 9% very short, 36% short, 51% adequate, and 4% in surplus. The statewide average temperature for the week was 77.1 degrees, and that is 4.8 degrees above normal. Corn silking progressed to 91% this week. That's 10 points over last week, 11 points over last year, and 12 points ahead of the 5-year average. Corn in the dough stage reached 47% this week. That jumped up 22 points over last week and is 32 points ahead of last year and 23 points ahead of the 5-year average. Soybeans blooming were pegged at 90% this week. That jumped up 7 points over last week's 83% and is 11 points over the 5-year average. Soybean setting pods are at 69% this week. That jumped up 23 points over last week and 27 points over last year. Alfalfa hay third cuttings at 45% this week. That jumped up 23 points over last week. Other hay second cuttings at 80% complete this week. Oats matured are at 94% this week. That jumped up 9 points over last week and is 60 points ahead of the 5-year average. Oats harvested are at 83% this week. That's up 29 points over last week and is 5 points ahead of the 5-year average. In other news, AGCO's net sales for quarter 2 of 2024 are $3.2 billion, marking a 15.1% decrease from the same period in 2023. For the first 6 months of 2024, net sales totaled $6.2 billion, down 13.7% from the first half of 2023. The decline is attributed to lower commodity prices and reduced farm income impacting global demand. The company is focusing on controlling expenses, reducing production, and cutting work capital investments. Notably, AGCO is selling its underperforming grain and protein business to concentrate on high-margin areas like precision agriculture and Fendt Massey Ferguson machinery. Capital expenditure for 2024 is projected at $475 million, with engineering and technology spending around $545 million. North American sales fell 19.8% in the first half of 2024, especially in hay equipment and tractors. AGCO expects full year of 2024 net sales to be approximately $12.5 billion, down from $14.4 billion in 2023. The company anticipates a 20 to 25% reduction in production for the year and is implementing workforce cuts of up to 6% to address market challenges and balance dealer inventories. We'll be back with the grain analysis and your overnight markets after this.
The Southwest Ohio Corn Growers will be hosting their annual field day Tuesday, August 13th at the Fayette County Airport. Topics include Agriculture Outlook and Policy Update, Ben Brown, University of Missouri, tar spot detection, and then what, Pierce Paul, OSU, interseeding cover crops with drones, Alex Thomas, OSU, Economics of Grain Storage, Eric Rieker, OSU. The Southwest Ohio Corn Growers Field Day will begin at 9 a.m. For more information, please visit fayette.osu.edu.
It's time to cut costs. Your Meristem dealer has the keys. Unlock the NPK you already own with new, improved Excavator AMS powered by microbialized technology. Excavator AMS is the first and only all-in-one nutrient release and residue breakdown product with built-in nitrogen, surfactants, and water conditioner. Take cost out of your fertilizer and adjuvant spend now. Unlock nutrition faster with Excavator AMS. Learn more and find a dealer at meristemag.com. Always more bushels for less.
It's now time for the Louis Dreyfus Grain Analysis, and that is brought to you by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets had an interesting ride for Monday. As we take a look at the numbers, here's what was going on. We started the day with a lot of red on the screen. The spillover from the macro market move was definitely palatable in the grains. We were red everywhere, but by midday, we'd shed the red in corn and soybeans, and by the end of the day, beans were up double digits, and the wheat market came to play as well. Every market got into positive territory on the grain side yesterday. But let's go back to the outside market story, because at one point in time, we were seeing the Dow trade anywhere from 700 to 1,000 points down. The NASDAQ and S&P down huge as well. This all stemmed from last Friday's jobs report and fear that the U.S. was going to work into recession, not just the U.S., but a global recession. The Japanese stock market had its lowest day in quite some time, and the global markets just really took off a lot of risk over the past 24 hours back into yesterday. We did see this spread into other markets as well. Crude oil was down big for a while, but like the grains, kind of chipped back away at its losses through the day. What didn't come back in terms of chipping away at losses were the meat markets. Absolutely astounding day in live cattle, down 255 to 425. Feeder cattle were down anywhere from $5.65 to over $8 for a while, closing $7.40 to $7.72 lower on the deferreds. Hogs were down as well, triple digits on the August. The meats were impressive, mostly due to the fact that that was a direct result of how people were feeling about the global markets, the macro markets. Meats a lot of times follow those because of disposable income and eating protein. So it was a risk-off day in several sectors. We'll see if we can get turnaround Tuesday here today. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight markets, brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Not looking very positive so far. Let's start off with September corn, 387.5, down 3 1/4. December new crop corn, 403 3/4, down 3 1/4. August soybeans, 1044 1/4, unchanged. November soybeans, 1029 3/4, down 11. September wheat, 537 1/4, down 2 1/4. Switching over and looking at livestock from yesterday's close, August live cattle 181.55, down 255. October live cattle 179, down 307. August lean hogs 91.15, down $1.05. October lean hogs 75.72, down 85 cents. September feeder cattle, $241.25, down $6.90. October feeder cattle, $239.22, down $7.35. Have a good morning, everyone. I'm Joe Everett, and you're listening to the Ohio AgNet.